Welcome to the middle part of the autistic analysis of Complete Arcane. This would be your filling in a sandwich. Hello there, the name's Adam.
This is the opposite, and I am definitely looking forward to this particular third of the book.
And I am Mrs. Diopsid, and same here.
The middle parts of most the middle parts of most books tend to be the not necessarily least forgettable, but it tends to blur together. Not so with Complete Arcane's character classes. No. In fact, I think it's dead in the middle, actually, if you count the number of classes. It's something like number 11 or 12. It's hilarious. But that's kind of the dessert in the middle of dinner kind of setup. And by the way, hello there, Primarch. Hello there, Jim. And hello there, Darksun. We're not going to cover that one yet, though. We're going to start with Elemental Savants, which the best way to describe them are they think that the Earth is made of the four Greek classical elements, kind of the opposite of the Wu Gen. And their whole thing is specializing in one of the four elements. So to actually enter into it, you do need to have the following: Knowledge Arcana of 8 ranks, Knowledge the Plane of 4, pretty low bar. You do need the Energy Substitution feat, which honestly, that's an amazing bit of meta magic. Let me tell you, it is very nice to be able to convert something like a fireball or Kelgor's firebolt, depending on what you're asking for, into a completely different damage type. Oh no, the horrible evil outsider is immune to fire or ice. Well, oh no, now he's going to get hit with sound fireball. Beautiful feat. I do honestly recommend having that. You do need to have it be either acid, cold, electricity, or fire because those correspond to the four elements. And you
Well, I
need
think also there's a little bit in the adaptation where if you want to be a super special deviant art OC, you can choose a completely different element, giving examples like bone, metal, nether, plasma, and wood.
Oh wow. I didn't even read the adaptation. That's both
I'm a
kind
Yeah,
of
bone elementalist.
that does sound like a DeviantArt OC because I,
They
I
just
think of
drank a lot of milk growing up. Went too
I
bit
think
too
of there's the show Witch. I remember on DeviantArt they would have OCs of girls that had lightning or darkness or something.
Meanwhile,
Because
here's me just envisioning making an elemental savant. Yeah, he's bone elemental, but just because of that, I'm just envisioning him as Randy Savage. Oh yeah, welcome to the Bone Zone. Yeah,
yeah,
you dig it.
but yeah, I did yeah. But yeah, with any kind of elemental thing, any show with characters with elemental powers, there'll always be an OC that uses the ones that aren't used.
Be it something as common as Avatar: The Last Airbender to something more obscure like what is it, Shadow Raiders, also known as War Planets, to
or
the
like
hit new flop Elemental, courtesy of Pixar, which
or like
probably already got pulled out of theaters.
yeah, I was also thinking witch, but what's unique about witch is that they also used Aether. Like the leader of the group actually used Aether.
Oh yeah,
bit.
because that's considered kind of the hidden fifth element, at least by some Greek philosophers.
Yeah, because that which I thought was pretty cool. Like that was unique because they often forget Aether.
And again, since this is a Wizards of the Coast book, and they've been a bit persnickety in the past about non system reference document books, we'll show little snippets here and there, mainly of the art, but we can't really show you too much of the book. Trying to keep that as a good policy,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
We'll try to narrate as much as we can.
So, any other things that you need? Oh, you must have made peaceful contact with an elemental or outsider that has an elemental subtype. So that's actually not that unreasonable because more than once you might meet someone like a Genasi or one of the Jinn or an actual elemental. And those tend to be neutral, at least the elementals are. That's
Or if you want to really cheese it, Summon an Earth Elemental. Give the fist bump, then unsummon it. There.
I have fulfilled the technical bounds of this contract, which makes me the most deserving of the title Elemental Savant. That is something you could actually do. I forgot you can summon Earth and Elementals. That's hilarious. So, let's see what you get out of this list. You do lose 2 spell caster levels, which is not great. Uh, just for those of you who have somehow never tuned into any of the previous episodes, losing a caster level, usually you have to justify it by giving them something pretty good to replace it.
Yep. I will say that at the very least, in a 20 level build, as long as you don't take other prestige classes and whatnot, you would still get access to level 9 spells even as a spontaneous arcane caster.
Basically, rule of thumb is if you only lose 1 or maybe 2 caster levels, it's not a deal breaker. It's not a deal breaker if you design this thing for casters. Now, on the other hand, if you lose more than that, I don't think you can actually run into. I don't think we've ever seen a class that actually does that and isn't
I think they've
garbage.
really made any class features that really are worth losing level 9 spells for. In 3.5, level 9 spells are just completely bonkers.
I mean, to give you an idea, the shittiest one that I can think of is you summon meteors to slam down on your enemies from a field. That's literally one of the worst ones you can pick, and it's still pretty bad. So let's see what we get out of this. So, elemental specialty, the first step towards transcending the mortal form, because that's a thing they do. Since they study a specific element, they kind of become more like an elemental. It requires them to choose their elemental specialty. So you have to select one of the 4 elements or one of the sub-elements if you've decided to be special. And let's see. When you cast a spell that normally deals energy damage, the energy descriptor always changes to the chosen energy type. So if... Oh, I just realized this idiot. Okay, so I will show you this elf cave woman. I will show you this elf cave woman who looks like she might actually be an enemy from, I don't know, an Elder Scrolls game. Just has that vibe. Yeah, she picked one of the worst elements to be. Fire is. Isn't it
Yeah,
something
there's just
like? Isn't it something like 1 out of 3 monsters actually have fire resistances in the
Yeah,
complete monster manual?
fire resistance is the single most common elemental resistance in the system.
I think it's something like 1 out of 3 monsters actually have some level of fire resistance. So,
Yep. I had to point
yeah.
out the elemental specialty is also really, really bad because remember that energy types don't don't just include those 4.
oh yeah, to give you an idea, this also, if I recall, completely fucks over Magic Missile.
Yeah, it affects both sonic and force spells,
Which,
which means you're for terms of damaging spells completely stonewalled by certain creatures because you can't cast any elements that aren't any energy types that aren't that type.
that's not pretty. To give you an idea, that already, in my opinion, knocks it down noticeably because. So, I occasionally have played at least partial casters, but one of my longest running full casters, his entire bread and butter was basically using his few selections of level 1 and 2 spells, and he specialized in substituting the energy to sonic damage. He could do it he could do it via other elements. It's just it basically allowed him to really bypass some of the nastier things we fought because after a certain point we ran into a lot of stuff that had fire resistances, which was very unfortunate because his base spells tended to be a fire element. So yeah, if I for some reason chose to make Abdul a elemental savant, which was not possible just because it was an Epic 6 game, but if for some reason I could, yeah, he would have been fucked. He would have been fucked.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I can point out that this basically goes in the opposite direction in terms of what to do from the Argent Savant from the previous book. Specializing in Force, always a good thing. Force is insane.
although I would probably say as an adaptation, I don't think you should be able to become a force elemental. I'm sorry,
Well,
that's a little too nuts.
no,
Yeah.
I'm talking about like the class we did last time.
Oh, that one's surprisingly good because of this is kind of the
Yeah, but
opposite.
I'm saying like this because this. I'm saying that, or well, I'm saying we should probably rate this only off of the ones that aren't adaption, because adaption just says lots of random shit sometimes.
And some of them are. I think some of them would actually be kind of difficult because how could you do, say, a bone element? Like, how would that translate? Does it become undead
Oh man,
energy?
I need to. I haven't checked yet, but I'm guessing this is one of these where you become an elemental at level 10. In that case, I like to imagine they go, I guess there's a little skeleton inside us all, and then his flesh falls off and becomes a skeleton.
Oh no, no. Like I said, but if I for some reason made a Randy Savage-esque elemental savant, I'd be like, look, brother, I know that. Look, brother, I have just transcended the bone zone. I am the bone zone. Literally unhinges his skin jaw and pulls and his skeleton leaps out. Oh yeah!
Yeah.
But yeah, elemental specialty ain't exactly pretty, at
Like,
least in my
yeah, that's
opinion.
real, honestly, nothing but a downside.
Conversely, resistance to energy, you do pick up resistances that way. It's only by a 5, but that's 5 less damage to that specific type. It's situational, but it is a slight increase. Does not make up for elemental specialty, though.
I will say it does become energy resistance 20 at 7th level, but like I said, it's not worth it.
Yeah, it takes a lot to make the ability of not being able to cast anything but that element good. You also
Yeah.
you also don't need to sleep anymore at level 2, and you actually become immune to sleep spells, but whatever, play an elf. Actually,
Yeah.
actually, the character I just showed was an elf, so that's completely fucking pointless to that one.
Oh yeah.
Oof.
Like
Oof. How embarrassing. Jeez. Energy penetration. So at 3rd level, an elemental savant further refines her ability to wield energy. When she casts the spell using that type of energy, you gain a +2 competence bonus on caster level checks, which basically, if you're dealing with spell resistances, and I believe it also the saves they have to make if you throw a save or suck at them. Oh wait, that doesn't matter because
No,
most of
no,
the time,
it's only for spell resistance.
bleh, bleh.
Especially since anyone who's smart at wielding damage spells in 3.5, they would know at some point just to at some point switch over to conjuration damage spells, which ignore spell resistance.
Yeah, honestly, here's the thing. Be a summoner. That way you don't have to worry about things like spell resistance. Because you don't need to worry about if your fireball hits the monster. You can just pull fire from the fire dimension to hit the monster. And it's real fire, so they can't dodge it.
yeah.
What would be the least bad element to specialize in if forced? Oh god.
In terms of resistance, the rarest resistance among the four would be acid.
Yeah, I was thinking earth elemental. If you're wondering, Earth is kind of combined with acid for some reason. I think it's just because of abstraction purposes. Electrical is associated with air, if you're wondering. Actually, if you ever wondered why Final Fantasy had the fire, ice, and lightning trifecta, it's because of D&D, because of how they associate ice with water and electricity
Give you
with
an
air.
idea. The first game, some of the sprites had to be edited in localization because they literally were just digitized D&D book art.
Oh yeah, and that's why in the first game you had spell slots and
Yeah, and spell
Yeah.
caster
levels.
levels.
And why Bahamut is a dragon, something D&D started because in the original mythology he was a whale.
I'm actually now sad that he wasn't a whale in the Final Fantasy game. Come on, imagine like you have the giant whale just like, hey, I fire laser beams from my mouth. I'm
I would
Bahamut.
I would love that.
Not sound. Well, here's the thing. Sound doesn't apply to anything. It's kind of your non-type. Hilariously, in Final Fantasy logic, sound probably would apply to flare. It's supposed to be essentially non-elemental damage, but it kind of is an element too.
That reminds me that Final Fantasy II, the sequel no one cares about, as in the real 2, not 4 renamed, they actually did make acid effectively a fourth element with
which
the Scourge ability, which was considered on par with the fire, ice, and thunder spells.
Yeah,
that was interesting. It's a shame that game was so jank,
Yeah,
and its encounter
yeah,
rates are awful.
but it kind of needed to be made because otherwise we wouldn't have the Saga games.
I do love the Saga series.
Oh yeah, I love the Saga series.
So let's see. Besides energy focus, which is not that great, you get dark vision, which whoa. I mean, the elf that they give as an
Oh,
example doesn't have it, so still a slight improvement.
Man, it
yeah.
sure is great that I can't do shit against most outsiders that have like 3 or 4 elemental resistances.
Yeah, I feel so smart. I picked fire. It was the greatest decision. Why is everything resisting my spells? Oh, and if you're wondering, one of the classes they recommend you enter this into is War Mage. Oh boy. Mm-mm.
No.
You gain immunity to paralysis and poison at what is it? At ninth level, which paralysis is a pretty nasty effect. To give
Yeah,
you an
but at
idea,
the same time, paralysis actually isn't that common as far as Desmods go.
it's situational, but let me tell you, one of the quickest ways to team kill an entire party is I forget what adventure module I remember this from, but it is you search an area for treasure, it activates a trap, you fall down a floor, and you are surrounded by ghouls or ghasts or something. Ghouls are nasty if they get the drop
Yeah.
on you. And at 10th level, through long association with your element, you transcend the mortal form to become an elemental creature. You basically become fantasy metallo up to and including the mental illness, probably because you
I mean,
don't need to
there are
sleep,
some of
Well,
the
breathe, or eat.
savant usually implies you're autistic, and you have a very and like autistic people, you have a very hyper focus on an element to the point it's detrimental. You have a very fixed interest on an element like an autistic person. That's why you're a
uh,
savant.
I will say at least because you become an elemental, you're immune to stunning and critical hits on flanking.
Which that's kind of nice. It's a good capstone straight up.
Yeah,
It
but you
Yeah,
also
know what? Most of those would be better for a martial class and something that is like if you're going to be constantly flanked, you're playing wizard wrong.
yeah, I think
I
yeah,
reject my
this is
humanity turns into a puddle of water.
yeah, you're right. If this was like for a martial class, that would be great. But yeah, yeah, no. It just I don't feel like it's worth going through all those levels.
So here's what decides this for me. The first thing you get forces all of your spells to be of that same element. That to me instantly throws this in the garbage can to me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like the capstone's amazing, but you guys have essentially said exactly what the problem is. It would be if you could slap this on, say, not a fighter because fighters suck, but like on a barbarian or a rogue, that'd be beautiful. Any martial worth their salt, like I mean, I guess even fighter. Oh, that's nice. That's so
Yeah,
good.
because the elemental creature type has a lot of upsides that there's a bajillion classes that turn you into an outsider, but not very many that make you an elemental.
Yeah, and
yeah,
elemental
and I
templates are
just
surprisingly pretty good.
yeah, unfortunately, it is very wasted potential.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to just straight up put this in. It's not like a hard garbage, but it's not a soft garbage. It's just garbage.
Yeah,
The first thing you have to do just kind of absolutely kills the entire thing.
It completely uh, cuts your versatility, which is one of the biggest things about being a caster.
yep,
Yeah, and the best thing is you don't even get improvements to save DCs. You just do it in terms of spell resistance, which if you're a conjurer, you basically screwed yourself.
Oh, yeah.
I love the whole getting screwed over. Speaking of getting screwed over, I think I mentioned Sacred Fist and Complete Divine is pretty darn good for a monk, mainly because monks kind of suck. Well,
Yeah.
now we're about to see their caster kin, the Enlightened Fist.
Oh.
Name a more iconic duo than monk with wizard powers. Ay, Dios mío, that's cursed even after I just said it.
What? What? Why? Like, would you want to, like, punch stuff and be a wizard when you could just be a wizard and, like, not
Man,
punch
I sure do
stuff?
want to take my perfectly fine arcane casting class and combine it with the worst class in the player's handbook.
I've just now
Yeah, like,
no. Here's the
why?
backstory. Here's the
Like,
backstory. Once upon a time, a monk was punching a tree really hard, and then one day he realized a voice in his head told him, "You could set the tree on fire." Yeah, and so he learned how to cast magic.
I don't think anyone who's listening to this is going to get
it's
that
an
joke.
inside joke.
So it's based on one of the greatest character backstories that was ever written for a
I'll
monk.
just say, it was about this fighter guy's his entire backstory is one day he was punching a tree. Suddenly, a wizard comes up to him and asks if he wants to go on an adventure. He goes, "Yeah," and then goes on the adventure.
It was literally one sentence, and it's glorious.
Yep.
So basically, the concept of the Enlightened Fist, I can see why the designers at Wizards of the Coast wanted to do this, because monks very much have a strong spiritual element to them in the Asian traditions of monks, your ascetics. There's a lot of metaphysical and meditative and spiritual elements to it. To the point where there are entire schools where monks believe they can augment their life force to do things like make themselves immune to cold and things like that. I get it. But we're about to see why this turns it into a big fucking pile of shit. So,
Yeah.
to become one of these, you need to have Concentration 8, Knowledge Arcana 5 ranks, and Spellcraft 5 ranks. You also need Combat Casting and Improved Unarmed Strike and Stunning Fist, meaning you have to be a monk. Oh dear fucking god, this art. Oh my god, I have to show this to everyone. Witness. What what what
What is with that
what
hairstyle? It looks like some 90s magical girl, like, knockoff.
Oh god, what's wrong with your face?
I know. Like,
And what's wrong with your hair? I'm gonna censor that
I
because
know.
It looks like she has little mini swords in her hairdo she can pull out.
oh, I don't see swords. I see something worse. I'm not letting anyone see that no more. This is
Oh
a
no, no, no. Oh my gosh.
you see
No.
it.
Why?
I mean, to be fair, it's probably ventured the thing you brought up last session.
Well, that's true. It caused a trauma response, and I'm sure this will also cause a trauma response.
At first I thought Monkey King. No, this is not Sun Wukong. This isn't even Donkey Kong. This isn't even Cranky. This is like I don't know. I don't know how to explain it.
The worst aspects of Chunky Khan and Kitty Khan.
Oh, I just realized this is supposed to be a woman, and yet that's a man's
Yeah,
body.
yeah.
Oh.
Oh. Oh dear Lord, oh God. Okay, now that my day has been completely ruined on every metaphysical level possible, let's continue. Please, please. You need Arcane Caster level 3, so you need to have legitimately sabotaged your character for multiple levels by this point.
I should point out to even enter this class. I mean, you're probably not going to have access to level 9 spells if you enter as a sorcerer monk.
Oh God, no. Especially since
No.
you need third level spells, and you need to sacrifice a level to at least pick up on our improved unarmed and stunning fist. You're kind of fucked because this already takes away 2 levels.
Yeah, and the third level means no level 9 spells for sorcerer
Wait,
misuse.
did she have a package? I don't know. I don't care. I'm moving on. My brain
No,
hurts.
please, I don't want to
Please,
stare at this
Simpson, no.
picture. I do not
Please.
want to. We do not want to stare at this picture any
I
longer.
don't want to think about expand dong, please.
Yeah.
So instead of that, oh, please, brain, come on. Except at first and sixth level, you gain spells as if you were the previous spellcaster. Hibbity bibbity boppity boo. It's crap. You lose level 9
Yeah.
spells because you have to at least pick up a level of monk at minimum. At minimum. Meaning, this is a pile of poopy. Anyway, Key Strike. An Enlightened Fist's unarmed attacks are empowered with Key. Her unarmed attacks are treated as magic weapons, which, by the way, you pick up as a monk already. What the fuck? What the fuck?
What?
Last I
But
checked, they already get that as monk.
What?
I what?
okay, I just decided to quickly double check something. Uh,
What's the
yeah,
fucking point?
I should point out another thing. I just had to double check.
You get monk. What the fuck? Oh, the monk abilities are so that your fist damage improves. Okay. Okay, for a minute there, I was having like a brain aneurysm. Like, what's the fucking point of making the monks?
What are you gonna say, Mr. Diopsid?
I was just yeah. I guess you technically could get level 9 spells if you do monk wizard, but what? Technically, it's
Yeah, but why?
But why though?
Why? When you could
yeah. I
just be
know. It's just
wizard.
infinitely worse.
This is so bad. I'm I'm only on the first level. I didn't. Oh man, we haven't even got to Crackhead Wizard. We're gonna love Crackhead Wizard.
Yeah.
We haven't even gotten to Crackhead Wizard. And this is where we are. Oh help! Oh help me, please, please, Baylor, help me. They gain at level 2 the Fist of Energy. This better be good, or else I'm going to have a mild brain aneurysm. So once per round as a free action, an Enlightened Fist of second level or higher can spend one of their dealing Stunning Fist attempts, which, those are kind of shit anyway, so you can waste one of those, which is fine, to imbue your unarmed strikes with either electricity or fire, which is an even shittier version of what the Sacred Fist already can do. Oh god, help me.
Uh,
So so basically you use your stunning fist and you can either imbue it with electricity or fire. Which
just electricity or fire?
yeah, fuck you. Do you want ice? No, you don't get it.
You want acid? No.
You're literally a monk wizard lightning fist multi-class. Your base attack bonus is going to be completely shit.
Hate
Yeah.
this.
I
But
don't think you'll be hitting with that fist of energy to
but
even
I
try it
like
out.
but I like to at least think I could hit him with ice.
Oh, they don't even give you the dignity of giving you a full base attack bonus for this pile of shit. No, you see, monks are too powerful. They could hit more than once per round because of flurry of misses. So we have to give them average base attack. What's that? We gave the ranger full base attack. I
Uh,
I'm already at this level. Uh,
no.
I'm
Give
already
you an
at
idea,
this
at second level, you would have to be if you enter the wizard character level 8, and your base attack bonus would be a +4, assuming you try to get as many wizard levels possible to not lose level 9 spells.
Which you kind of have to do.
Well, then why would you punch things? Why would you even want to punch things?
I mean, that is why you even take levels of monk at
Why?
all.
I know why.
Unarmed
Why would
sword
you?
sage. Why didn't you pick unarmed sword sage? What the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, you can literally do the same thing with unarmed sword sage.
At least it's not just fire damage. Like that's a good point, Jim. At least they were just smart enough to go. Maybe we should give them a second energy attack.
Yeah.
Why the hell they couldn't give you ice punch? I don't know. Pokemon can do it. Why can't my
I
monk?
know. Why can it be like Pokemon?
My Hitmonchan can do it. Why can't my monk?
Yeah, but Mr. Diopson often has to remind me, like, when it comes to, like, elemental stuff, that, like, this is not, that, like, D&D is not Pokemon. So I think that also applies here.
So let's see what we get. So at 6th level or higher, your magical punch might cause them to burst into flame or lightning on a critical hit. In addition to dealing an extra just whopping 1d6 points of damage, you get an extra 1d10 points of energy damage on a successful crit. Woo!
Good luck confirming that crit.
If your critical hit multiplier is somehow times 3, you add an extra
How?
2d10.
How?
How?
And if
Look,
the
I
multiplier
barely
is
know
somehow
3.5.
times 4, how?
Look. I'm pretty thoroughly autistic about 3.5. I'm pretty sure there aren't ways to do that with unarmed strikes.
What are you talking about? The opposite. You could totally get a times 4 crit on a punch. Look at this shit homebrew I made.
Wait, no.
Why did they even write this? Is it?
It was
You openly admit it's
witness
your
that.
fists. You have to hit them
Did
with your unarmed strike. You openly admitted it.
Did they witness something where they got a times 4 crit?
Or even at times 3, they're really.
I think monks have like 1 or 2 weapons they can wield that do that. 1 or 2, but that's not your fist, which is what they're fucking saying.
Yeah.
This isn't an unarmed strike. Brain damage in processed. I know, Dark Sun. My head hurt. My head hurt. Oh god, there's still more. But wait, there's more, says the studio announcer about to unleash more shit upon the screen. Arcane Fist. You can spend another daily stunning attempt to cast and deliver a touch spell as part of an unarmed full attack action.
Okay.
At
But
least
the thing is that because of you're doing it that way, the spell itself would no longer be touched.
Yeah, it can miss. It can
Because it
actually
has
it
it's
makes it worse because you have to match their AC via normal methods and not the
yeah,
Yeah,
because you're using your unarmed strike to deliver it.
you don't
Oh.
you don't get benefits of using the touch AC.
Oh no.
If you just make a normal punch attack, all you have to worry about is touch AC. But if you're just you use normal AC.
To give you an idea, touch AC basically, if I remember correctly, I could get the calculations wrong. I think it's just your base 10 plus your dexterity and ignores any armor you have on you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
While flat-footed is the opposite. So you're basically let's say you're fighting the greatest paladin in the world because they are lawful stupid and they have believed your party of mostly neutral good with the occasional chaotic neutral weirdo. Yeah, you're responsible for the string of crimes even though most of
I
you
mean,
wouldn't ever commit it.
I mean, your enlightened fist doesn't know has a times 3 crit fist. There's probably some evil afoot here.
He witnesses you somehow did a times 3 crit, said there's evil afoot, goes full mermaid man, and his +2 armor plate, full plate, and congratulations, your burning hand spell is now based on his really high AC because he's built to be a fucking wall.
Yeah.
Oh no, Jim's having the same brain damage I am. Oh god, I feel like the Hell 9000 as he's getting unplugged. Fuck this class. We're not even at the
We're
halfway
not
point.
done. We're not done. We have to go
Oh,
on
the next ability is even better.
Oh, can you
Oh.
explain it? My brain can't read it. I've become illiterate right now.
Okay, an Legend Fist of 5th level or higher can channel arcane energy to heal her own wounds. As a standard action, she can sacrifice one of her prepared spells or unused spell slots. Doing this heals a number of hit points equal to the spell's level.
The spell's
What?
level.
What?
So, like, a level 1 spell can heal only
What?
1 HP.
What?
At maximum, using a level 9 spell, because you're one of those people that went full wizard, to
Like,
heal 9 HP.
but, like,
What?
why, though? You could,
I
like,
could maximize the cure light wounds and still and do more. I think there's like what's that? That cantrip healing spell that if you maximize does like
There-
6.
There's a very small handful of actual arcane healing spells, and they're a lot better than that.
What the
why?
fuck?
And they're
Why?
still really shit.
Why, though?
Oh no, Darkseid. They should not have kept the arcane fist. Although I think they actually kind of did that. There's a monk template that kind of plays around with it. If I remember right, it is still the worst of the templates, but it at least has some interesting effects and it's not like complete shit. It's not like this pile of horse shit. Oh, at 7th level, you turn a ray spell into a touch spell, even though rays are a touch spell. Oh
Yeah?
Yeah, but
god.
you turn it to a melee touch spell.
I have downgraded this ray of enfeeblement into a touch attack with my hand.
Magic fingers of enfeeblement.
Like, why? Like, why? I mean, why would you want to get up close when you could just, like, cast a normal ray from a distance?
You are not a cleric. You are not a paladin. You are not a spell sword, which is a thing you can be with the right build. This is not how you fucking do it. Jesus Christ. Oh no, there's even more. Fuck. Fuck.
No.
Oh, thank God. They gave us the sample Enlightened Fist. I was actually kind of terrified. I thought maybe that was more crap because
We're getting through this.
funnily
The
enough,
important thing is that when you take levels in this class, you can still take more levels of monk if you really want to lose those spell levels.
oh, by the way, the capstone, they don't get one. Fuck you. They get Diamond Soul. At 9th level, you gain spell resistance equal to 10 plus the total of your monk levels and Enlightened Fist levels, which is dog shit.
Man, I sure like how their little level 10 literally gives no new class ability whatsoever.
I
Yeah.
can I rate this True Namer?
Yes,
Yeah.
I'd
Because
rate it
it makes your
Namer.
casting worse in every way humanly possible. And it doesn't and I think it actually makes your monk worse in every way possible.
Yeah.
Because you have to actually lose monk abilities, which I know that's such a big loss, but it is the worst of both worlds. Holy shit. Holy shit.
Yeah, it's true Namer. I have to agree.
Holy shit. Funnily enough, I kind of find it weird that the Elemental Savant did not have a sample character sheet, while this pile of fucking dog shit does. Actually, let's see.
When maybe they realize, man, this is shit. We need to try to give an example to see if look, Ferris Lyday is one. Don't you want to be like her?
Do
Look
they
at
actually?
her.
Do they
Isn't she
actually?
amazing?
Do they actually give her the ×3 crit somehow?
What?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay, I was just making sure. I cast a bad touch. No, please don't. Please don't, Dark Sun. This
No.
this class touched us enough.
Yeah. It touched me in a way in a place that made me feel uncomfortable, and that's no good.
Speaking of not so good, the Fate Spinner. Actually, this one's not too bad, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
So
maybe.
the way Fate Spinners work is that they kind of are a divination specialist. These are the guys that basically They take the look at the dice results they get and say, yeah, this is kind of shit. I don't want this. I'm not kidding. That is their main ability, from what I recall. So they give you adaptation rules. Adapting this class to other methods of play might include the idea of draining luck from NPCs, which I think makes them like a hexblade. So that's an idea they kind of come up with, but don't really expand or give you good mechanics for. They're basically telling you homebrew it yourself, motherfucker, and it should only be used once a day. So to become one, you need Knowledge Arcana 10 and Profession Gambler 5 ranks. And you need 4th level arcane spells, including at least a divination spell of 1st level or higher. Because remember, Wizards thinks that divination sucks. Mainly because their playtesters were the dumbest motherfuckers to ever walk the earth.
Yeah.
Then again, I think you do want the stupidest people to playtest your games, because they're the ones that somehow find the worst results usually. The stupid or insane, I think.
Sounds about right. Uh,
God, that class sucked a lot of life out of us. Holy shit.
we can do this. Come on, guys.
So they do lose a spellcaster level, but only one. That's fine. So what do we get? Spin Fate. Since your whole thing is defying fate, chance is not as random as you think. Each day, you can use a number of points of spin equal to the Fate Spinner class level. This is kind of their big thing. You get up to 5 spins effectively. And the way this works is you can use your stored spins to boost the save DC of a spell. You can add one or all of your spin to the DC on a point per point basis, and that raises it up by bit, which it's kind of nice. It basically makes it so monsters are less likely to resist your save or sucks. It's a neat little improvement. It's nothing amazing, but it's not too bad.
I mean, at least it's a free action,
Yeah, it's
so it
free.
doesn't use up your swift action for the turn.
Yeah, it's not too bad. 5e is homebrew at this point. Yeah, no one touches actual 5e. They have to basically make their own tables and crap. It's a nightmare. Like, to give you an idea, it's gotten to the point where you literally have to figure out what the homebrew rules for any table you go to. That's the good. That's how good. That is the high quality I expect. So Fickle Finger. Oh,
No, never mind. I was just like, yeah, it's just like, every LARP in existence.
yeah.
Like they're very localized. I feel like, fifth edition is kind of becoming like LARPs are. Like in that there isn't like, any sort of standard anymore. But
Man,
yeah,
what
go on.
man Wizards is going to be so full of panic when they realize no one buys 6e.
Yeah.
The Fickle Finger of Fate. Upon reaching 2nd level, a Fate Spinner gains the ability to affect the luck of others. Once per day is an immediate action, which takes the role of Swift, if I recall.
Yeah, they use the same action counter.
You can force any other creature, friend or foe, to re-roll a roll that they just made. You have to have line of sight, and they have to abide by the result of the re-roll, no matter what result it is. This is ridiculously powerful for D&D.
Yeah, definitely.
So here's the thing. A lot of systems do give you some ability to reroll. In fact, one of my favorite systems out there is actually the Fantasy Flight Games systems, which were used for the Warhammer 40k. It was also a similar system used in Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay. They gave you what are called fate points. You usually had anywhere between 1 to 3, and it gave you the ability to re-roll results or to improve a score by 20 because it was percentile based. Really nice, very situational. You couldn't use them too often because otherwise you burned them, which means you couldn't recover them. They're supposed to be very, very strictly given, basically when large milestones happen traditionally. And it was just a way to, in the event the fortunes don't smile on you, it's a way to give mercy. Sometimes in fantasy, it's called Shalia's Mercy. D&D doesn't have that. It doesn't have any of this sort of thing usually. This is one of the rare times you can basically tell the GM, How about you go fuck yourself, son? That was not a 1, that was a 7, which, while not great, means I hit.
Yeah.
5e eventually did
Alternatively,
this.
you can also use it to uh undo a crit that was done against someone.
It's really nice. Now, unfortunately, this is not as cool as in 5e, where you have what are called advantages and disadvantages, which basically gives you 2 dice rolls, take the best or worst of either. But for 3.5, this was a big game. This is a big game changer. Admittedly, you can only do it once per day, which means you have to really be careful where you use it, but it's really nice. And at 3rd level, you get a, what do you get? You get another accumulated spin to adjust other random events. How does this work? You increase the
Basically, you
spells,
use the points for skill checks, attack rolls, and saving throws.
which is again kind of similar to how you can use a fate point. It doesn't sound like a lot because you can only use up to 5 points a day, but sometimes you only need 1 or 2 points to improve something.
Yeah.
Deny Fate. At 4th level, you have a better chance at beating the odds should they ever be rendered unconscious or dying. Once per day, on the first occasion where a Fate Stitbender must make a check to become stable when dying, auto success. Which, admittedly, if you're a caster, you shouldn't be in the firing line, but sometimes bad things happen. The goblins get
Yep.
around your blockade and ambush you from behind. Some big giant with a crossbow manages to crit on your face with it before
I mean, to
charging
be
you.
fair, at this point, you should be like a level 13 caster, like minimum.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably dead, but it's nice that if you get taken into the negatives, this is a way to kind of ignore that. It's not great, but it's not. It's
Well, I meant like a caster of this level falling for mundane shit like that isn't being played pretty well.
yeah. I'm just giving an example, like kind of low-level examples. And last but not least, Seal Fate. Once per day as a free action, the Fate Spinner selects a target that they can see within 30 feet with hit dice equal or less to than his. You either receive a -10 penalty or +10 bonus on its next saving throw.
Well, you forgot the resist fate where they can do a re-roll for themselves, which is different from the spin destiny.
Yep, once per day you can re-roll one roll that they just made. They have to abide by the result, which doesn't count by your, which also doesn't count your spins, by the way. Good catch. I did not catch that one, Diopsid. So overall, mm, don't know whether to rate it decent or good.
Say it's pretty good.
I think it's pretty good, mostly because
Yeah, I'm gonna go with
there's
good.
always nice to have access to ways to re-roll that don't eat up some experience points by doing that.
True, because the only other way that is a thing is you have to burn experience usually.
Well, yeah, the most easily accessible one is the you know the for altered
Alter Fortune.
altered fortune spell, which a large amount of casting classes get, but it does eat 200 experience.
It's
Well, that
not pretty
doesn't.
because of that.
Yeah, it's not that much at the all in all, but if you start using it a lot, it's gonna eventually accumulate.
Yeah, Alter Fortune is something that you kind of crack out if things are going completely wrong. And this is just a class that can kind of do that without worrying about experience loss. And on top of that, he can kind of do it more than once,
Yeah, rerolls are really powerful in like tabletop RPGs in general.
especially if the system is very stingy with giving you the ability to do it.
Yeah, like rerolls are like I mean, I feel like in board games in general, rerolls are always pretty good.
So,
Yeah,
yeah, as a
but
whole, it's a fairly solid little class. Nothing super fancy, but it doesn't need to be. Its whole thing is
and
defying
it's only
fate.
5 levels. That's the big thing.
hmm And again, you only lose one spell level as a caster, but that's fine. I think being able to reroll without losing experience is really nice. And to improve caster improve the spell save against that you have to, the spell save of your spells. or attack rolls. It's not much, but it's just like little nudges. That's really nice. That's a nice little. Oh yeah, the geometer. This one's a weird one. So, who's familiar with glyphs?
Glyphs?
Well, specifically the spell Glyph of War
There
or
there are a
Warding.
very few selection of spells in D&D, and there's a very few selections of traps and of magical traps and a few other things that use things like runes, sigils, and glyphs. The geometer specializes in this. This sounds really boring, but let's take a look at how this thing exactly works. Well, first off, to enter it, you need the ability to decipher a script at 9 ranks, which is a bit of a waste of skill points, but wizards usually have high intelligence. It's not a big deal. Disable device 4 ranks, which is a bit weird. Most wizards don't usually try
But the
to even
Cyber
do
Script is
this.
really good for figuring out scrolls made by uh other like casters that you like find in dungeons, especially if you're out of like spells.
Wait, disable device works for that too?
No, I'm talking about the Cyber Script.
Oh yeah, decipher script. Yeah. Yeah, that's mostly it's in my opinion it's kind of a situational skill though.
Yeah.
You need knowledge arcana of 9 ranks and search of 4. You need to be able to scribe a scroll, which honestly wizards can do. And you need to be able to prepare and cast 3rd level arcane spells,
Yep. I
which
will say,
yeah.
off the bat, looking at the table, they don't lose any spell levels.
So this is just at worst kind of just the same thing. So let's see what we get. They get the Glyph of Warding. The Geometer has the ability to, it gets to add Glyph of Warding to their spell book as a 3rd level arcane spell. You also get Spell Glyph, which
Well, I should point out that Wizard doesn't only get access to this spell.
oh yeah, isn't it a cleric thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of neat. You get a spell you almost never get. You also get spell glyphs, which it's an arcane diagram that substitutes for a specific spell's verbal and material components, if any. You can prepare these and essentially scribe it in. And its spell is cast in the same way you would if you did a silent spell. It also counts as eschew materials partially. Although, here's the cool thing about this. Some spells are really, really expensive because you have to bust out a lot of material for it. There's one exalted spell, for example, that I think is, what is it, $1,000 worth of diamond shards, 1,000 gold worth of diamond shards, or something like that.
Yep.
So the way this one works is your materials are instead replaced with ink, which costs 25 gold pieces per spell level, which at its maximum takes it to just shy of 250 gold.
Well, it says that if they have an expensive material component, the inks and treatments must be equal use to the amount of money normally spent. But I will say that getting those is a lot easier than like finding like, for example, a
Jade
crap ton of
stones,
diamond dust.
diamond dust, jade stones, the
Yeah.
liver of a chimera. I'm just giving a variety of examples. I don't know if a liver of a chimera is actually used in a spell.
This is I I know that might sound dull, but being able to replace hard to find and expensive material components with stuff as easy to get hold of like
Super
ink
fancy ink at
is
the
a really, really good ability for
like all you
lots
have
of
to
different
do is
stuff.
go to the Fantasy Office Depot. It's really great.
Yeah.
Just
And just buy like, you know, 2,000 like is it 1,000 like gold worth of like ink for like the diamond dust or whatever?
yes, this is the amethyst ink, which actually uses ground shards of amethyst crystals, which gives it its luminous lilac colors. It is saved mainly for the most elaborate and fancy of party invitations by the richest man in town. It costs 1,000 gold. I'll take it.
Well, it's the next ability also was pretty nice as well.
Oh
Where
yeah, the Book of Geometry. So here's the thing. We mentioned wizards are ridiculously powerful. There is one thing that's supposed to limit how many spells they know. Spellbooks only take up, I think, 100 pages. And each
Yep,
spell takes 1 page minimum, and then an additional page per level, barring first level, which counts as just one still.
yep. But I mean, you can buy multiple spellbooks and they're that expensive.
Yeah, but then you gotta lug around and like filter and sort and
You
file, and
you're a wizard though.
you can just make a magical spell book eventually, true, but this is a way to just kind of make things a lot more accessible.
Yep. But with this, like every spell, regardless of the level, takes up only 1 page.
This is really nice, mainly because you can make a very summarized spell book that has a lot more spells on it per, and you don't have to make a super fancy magical spell book that kind of serves as your own wizarding Wikipedia. It's really nice. Like, remember, you only have 100 pages per spell book. Yes, you can buy multiples of them and you can store them in a variety of places, but this just kind of allows you to be able to store a lot more per bit. Like a fireball spell usually takes up 3 pages. These guys basically use shorthand, secretary shorthand, to make it cram into one. It's a quality of life thing that if your GM is actually persnickety about catching how many pages your spell book is, this is a bit of a time saver. It's not great though, but it's still nice. It's a nice little touch. You also get Sigil Sight, which you can use a search check to find magical traps based on runes, spells, sigils, symbols, and other writings. Just like a rogue would, actually.
Yep, it's basically a more limited version of the trap finding ability that rogues get.
Still, that is sometimes useful because rogues often are by themselves.
Yep.
So it's nice to have a secondary expert, especially, let's say you're playing a very old-fashioned game of D&D and the rogue kind of exploded earlier because of a trap.
Well, another thing is that they also get a bonus equal to their caster level and all search checks used for this purpose. And reminder that they don't lose any caster levels in this class.
Yeah, it's really nice. You also get
Yeah,
Past Sigil.
cool. Yeah, this is pretty cool so far.
It's not strong, but it's nice little quality of life things. Past Sigil.
Yeah.
At third level, a geometer can temporarily negate magical wards based on written symbols, which, to get a good example of this would be a glyph of alarm or a warding, like a magical trap of alarm. Rather than just disable it, which might cause a contingency effect which allows the, say you're dealing with an evil wizard, to know anyway that it's been disabled, this allows you to bypass it without actually messing with it. Not super powerful, but again, if you're this is kind of a conditional. If the GM tends to be a bit of a paranoid asshole, this is a way for the geometer to kind of bypass defenses without alerting
In
anyone.
subclass, all you're really losing as a wizard is like one of your every 5 levels bonus feats for a bunch of different abilities.
Which is hoopity doo because you get a free spell. I think losing one of your feats is okay. Powerful spell glyph. At 5th level, when you prepare a spell glyph for a spell, they know how to strengthen it beyond its normal aspect. The caster level is treated as one higher for any spell they cast with it, which does affect saves. It also slightly affects damage
Don't forget range.
and range as well. And Greater Glyph of Warding. You get Greater Glyph of Warding, so you get 2 free spells and some neat little quality of life things.
Like you really don't lose. Like if you're just a bare bones wizard, there really is no downside to taking this class. I mean, you're an influence class, so it's like you're short on skill points or anything.
And just because I think the character design looks pretty neat, here is what a geometer looks like. He is casting the Vorish sign on top of this cliff. I don't know. It just kind of the art style for this has a strong Amano energy, like early Final Fantasy Amano energy.
Yeah, I agree.
Kind of feels
But
like
yeah, it has some nice quality of life improvements. And you don't lose any spells or anything.
I'm gonna just say it's a solid little decent. It's a decent. It's not strong, decent, but
Yeah,
I'm gonna say good because there really aren't any like obvious downsides to taking this outside of going straight wizard.
yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, I would say it's good because again, like quality of
Like, it's not the most flashiest of classes, but it's very practical.
yeah, it's there it definitely makes your life a lot easier as a wizard.
a little bit. Um, I can't quite rate it as good because again, a lot of it requires your DM actually being active in kind of a lot of things that are usually abstracted. Like a thing a lot of DMs do sometimes neglect is spells cost space in a book.
Well, the thing is that you're also just getting like two free spells that aren't normally available to arcane casters.
True. I mean, I'm not rating it. I just feel like it's it's nice. It's nice little quality things, and you get a couple of spells. And yes, there's no downsides. It's just, I mean, I guess you could rate it good. I don't know. I don't know. There's just something about it that doesn't make me quite think it's quite worthy of good.
Yeah, I mean, I respect your opinion,
Yeah, I
honestly.
guess it's just different is because you know me, I'm a bit more I've usually uh like to rate classes where you seemingly don't really lose anything notable for taking them a lot higher.
I do partially, but another element that has been brought up before is I also compare it to other prestige classes of its line.
Right.
And in terms of overall gain, you don't lose anything. You do gain a couple of nice little things. But the two biggest elements require an attentive DM that actually is worth their salt. And it's just not as good as some of the other stuff I would rate as good.
Yeah, I can understand that.
But now we need to get to
Oh
Oh, are
yeah,
we actually there?
the
yes,
star of the book, or should I say the green
Oh,
star of the book.
oh yeah. Oh yeah, we're here. We're here.
yay!
I before we begin, I need to show everyone the beautiful art of this bastard. Witness. Witness him in all of his glory, in all of his methed out, steroid ridden glory. He's like the Jolly Green Giant if he wanted to look like he fought in a gladiatorial arena. There's a statue in the background praising the gods of DnD for allowing this atrocity to exist. This. Oh boy, here we go.
Well, don't mind if I describe the class because, well, I'm not going to go with the fluffy stuff. I'm going to basically narrow it down to its truest essence. This is a
Sure.
class where you're an arcane caster who wants to eat green magical space rocks so you can become a green magical space rock, and you might fight other wizards to the death to take their space rocks before they can eat them themselves.
Sumerian Methorc, you're not wrong, Imsit. Say hello to the Green Star Adept, aka the Crack Wizard.
Yeah, and you're fighting other like crack hobos.
This is the Crack Hobo Wizard. Who, who,
Just like crack addicts, they just fight over their crack. It's amazing.
no, no. There's also
Really
the.
is crap because look at the table. You lose 5 caster levels.
Yeah,
There's also the fact that it has a Troll 2 element, which we'll go into more detail of, but
yeah. Well,
literally
that's what happens when you do drugs. You're
they're eating him, and then they're gonna eat me. Oh my god!
like that's what happens when you do drugs. Like you become like your brain you can't cast spells
Hello
because
there,
your
Sub.
brain is like so damaged.
Your brain is so you suffer so much brain damage. You lose 5 spell slots. Oh yeah, 5 spell levels.
Yeah, for a sorcerer, that's you're effectively like losing access to like both. Actually, no, even as a wizard, you're losing both level 8 and level 9 spells.
By the way, hello there, Southern Legend. Hello there, Sublime Mind. Yeah, yeah. Welcome to the Warpstone class. Welcome to the Skaven Wizard class. Only it's really shit. So,
Yeah.
in lore, I think this is a Faerun thing. There is an evil comet known as Al Hazard, which just flies across. Every time it does, awful things happen. It's Halley's comet, but shit. And every now and again, bits of it fly off. And these guys are crack addicts. Literally, they will suck your dick for green rock. It's literally like these are the people who haunt the dumpsters of the city at 3 a.m. in the morning, going, "You got some rock? I can do things for you if you give me some of that rock. Yeah, I'm gonna kill you for that rock." Holy shit, this class. So to destroy to permanently destroy your character and enter the halls of legend, because if you choose to ever play this class, you are entering into your gaming group's fucking Valhalla. You are. People are going to remember the nightmare you're going to become.
Yeah.
The Mad Arab Moon, more like the Mad Arab Comet. So to
Yeah.
enter this shit show, you need a base attack bonus of +4, Decipher Script of 2 ranks, Knowledge Arcana 8, Knowledge Architecture and Engineering 2, Knowledge Geography 2, and Knowledge History 2, because you got to figure out where all your meth is.
You gotta find out where the space rocks are, or historically where you can find space rocks. How to build a way to make space rocks edible.
I unironically, this should have been a Dungeons and Dragons game that was released for the Super Nintendo. Can't you envision Green Star Adept quest where it's literally you just rampage through Faerun or Oarth, just trying to beat up people for their green rocks?
Yep. Yep. Basically, you apparently they also want you to basically be. Well, here's the thing. This is supposed to be a Gish class.
Yeah, this is their attempt to make a fighter caster.
Like you need combat casting as a feat, arcane catch level first, and you must acquire a piece of star metal weighing at least 2 ounces, powder it, and consume it by drinking it in a specially prepared infusion.
By the way, star metal comparable to adamantine. Literally, it's statted like adamantine. You have just destroyed enough material to make most simple weapons out of a high quality hardness, a fucking masterwork tool.
Speaking of simple weapons, you gain proficiency in those. Congratulations.
No, they start with them because they're wizards.
No, wizards have less than just simple weapons, similar to druids, where they just have a hodgepodge of random assortment of weapons they're proficient with.
How do they consume the space rocks? Well, you see, they make an infusion. They basically make a Kangen water filter. They make a Kangen water filter, or they use some weird scam device to boil the rock until they can drink it.
They turn it into a protein shake. They're going to get swole so they can punch
Oh
other people for
god.
their space rocks.
So let's see what we get.
It's like one of those like, dude, what is that like one um sells the shakes.
One of those what?
Companies with like the shakes. I forgot the name of it. It has like a green logo.
Jamba Juice?
No, that's not an MLM. Hold on.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. The one that had so much salt it'd fucking kill you if you actually drank it to the levels they
That's
told
jelly
you.
juice. No, that's jelly juice. There, and that's some. It's like something else.
Well,
Like
I
The
think
pink
at the
drink?
end
no, that's another one
I
though.
think we should just start with the class instead of trying to figure out like what type of slurry this idiot's shoving down his gullet.
Do you have? That's
Yeah.
another MLM. It's an MLM shake. Do you have any idea how little that narrows it down?
I mean, there's plenty of MLM shake. Like,
So
Every
speaking of
MLM
MLM
has
shakes, what happens when you
every
join the Green
MLM.
Star MLM? Damage
Uh,
reductor.
yeah, yeah,
Damage reduction.
you slowly become the Green Rock. But doesn't mean other wizards would want to kill you and eat you.
Yes. Yes, unironically, because you become a human body-sized mass of star metal by the end of this. Yes, they would break you apart and turn you into protein powder. Literal Soylent Green. This class is amazing.
Oh, it's Herbalife. Herbalife. That's what I was thinking of. It's an Herbalife shake.
Damage reduction. Star metal infusion reinforces the flesh of a Green Star Adept, making them resistant to physical blows. They gain damage reduction to anything but adamantine because adamantine's star metal. Every level after, it improves by 1 until by 10th level you have damage reduction 10, adamantine. This was their solution to kind of counter the fact that you have shit HP.
Honestly, though, but it's not really.
If you're waiting in the combat, you fucked up as a caster.
Yeah, but in order to supposedly make up for the loss of new spell slots, they let you increase your caster level every level.
Which doesn't give you new spells, by the way.
No.
Now, all this does is basically make it so that in terms of in terms of DC, it matches.
Well, DC actually isn't affected by caster level. It's only by the spell level.
Well, oh, in terms of other things, yeah. God, this is so amazing. It's shoving everything out of my brain. Here's the best part. You have now become dependent on the star metal. You have to consume more star metal to continue your transformation. Whenever you gain a level in this class beyond first, you do not gain any of the class features for that level until you perform a special ritual that requires a whole fucking day, 1 pound of star metal, and another arcane reagents and materials costing 1,000 gold. You basically have to buy drugs and then take a 24-hour drug orgy to further advance your level.
Yeah.
This is so glorious. So what else do we get? We get Star Metal Rigor. At first level, you have already begun. You take on it. Your skin starts turning green. Your dexterity score drops by 1. Your strength improves by 1, which means your spell casting, your touch attack spells are now shittier.
Yeah.
Your natural armor goes up by 1, though. And your natural armor improves up to +4, which, yeah, okay. Oh no, it goes up to +6 actually. It's like you're wearing full plate. Your strength goes up to a maximum of +6. Your dexterity goes to a maximum of -3. So, yeah, you basically get stronger, even though you probably. I'm just trying to envision, like, how would you plan out your stats if you're going to make this atrocity?
Not very well, that's how.
Yeah. Yeah.
You gain a natural attack, so you gain a slam attack like a golem.
Oh boy, slam attack.
Welcome to the jam. Now it's time to slam. A natural metabolism. When you reach second level, you begin to gain a +2 bonus to saving throws against poison, sleep effects, paralysis, and blah 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 blah. It goes up to +6.
Little do they know that's actually because your body is being shut down from eating all this weird glowing
Yeah,
space
you're
metal.
literally yeah, it's like those like meth commercials where they're all skeletal and stuff.
Actually, here's the thing. They said that your skin goes kind of green, right?
Yeah.
I think that's a sign of copper poisoning.
Yes.
Like, I think that's a sign your kidneys are dead.
Yeah, yeah, it is. Like also yeah, that is.
You're playing a crack addict. You didn't plan things out to begin with. Well, you have to at least have magic spells. You have to have at least had enough of a plan to make it to wizarding school. And then get kicked
Yeah.
out because you started snorting space rocks. Let's see, you get fortification, which when a critical hit or a sneak attack is scored on you, there's a 25% chance that it's negated. It then eventually goes up to only a 75% chance, so you have to use a D100 to see if you get the construct ability. The colloidal silver MLM class. Yep, that is essentially what this class is, Primarch. You,
Yeah.
you gain dark vision and low light vision. At 7th level, your metabolism your body just shuts down. You're dead now, but your addiction is so strong, even death won't stop you. You no longer need to breathe, eat, or sleep. So yeah, you die and wake up, and your body keeps moving because drugs.
Yeah. You're literally powered by drugs.
And then at 10th level, you become pure star metal. I'm just now envisioning. Oh god, I'm envisioning. I forget the name. There's a Stephen King short novel where I think it's called like Survival Instinct, where a guy gets trapped on a stranded island. I'm just envisioning a Green Star Adept in the same situation, and because he's so addicted to eating the star metal, he begins just cutting parts of himself off, going, "They taste like lady fingers! Sandwiches! Oh, yes!" And he's like missing a foot now.
Oh god.
Be right back. I'm going to write that as an encounter someday in some horrifying D&D session. Demented Green Star Adept missing a foot and like half of his arm.
I mean, Demented Green Star Adept is just Green Star Adept.
To give you an idea, just because this is a beautiful, beautiful class. It's horribly insane. So here's the thing, right? The Green Star Adept, genuinely, they refuse to study because they've become drug addicts. And on top of that, they're all bitter rivals. They legitimately get into knife fights, as mentioned. That's why the Diopsid openly admitted that you get into knife fights over your space rocks.
Because it says that uh, Green Star Adepts and Trainer are never allies because they're going to get in the way of each other getting their own green crack rocks.
Oh, by the way, at 10th level, you also become shittier because since you're now a perfect construct, that means you need repair spells to heal you.
It also means that you lose your con score, but you get plus 20 HP for being medium sized, which I should point out is about the same as at level 20 as having 12 con, which isn't great. And unlike being a 12 con wizard at level 20, you can't get magical items to increase that further.
Oh, there's one more thing that's absolutely hilarious. The moment a Green Star Adept gets a health of 0, they instantly explode into rubble. There is no
Yes,
negative HP for
I like
you.
to imagine all of the other Green Star adepts have been constantly scrying on him to teleport the minute he turns into rubble so they can all eat it for themselves.
Okay, so in this fictional encounter where you run into the demented Green Star Adept who has started cutting off his limbs to enjoy the high, the moment you kill him, a swarm of other Green Star Adepts that are far less in the transformation ritual begins teleporting out of nowhere, screaming in orgiastic glee as they mutilate his statue like a corpse.
What
This
else
class is magical.
what else is there?
This class is amazing.
I suppose you don't get the immediate might affecting effects that would actually almost make turning into a construct worth it.
Yeah, no, you don't.
You do get rapid repair, which gives you a point of damage per hour of rest healing.
That doesn't mean shit. There's classes like that don't turn you into a stupid green rock monster that give you fast healing one.
Look, I don't know what you're talking about, Diopsid. This is the greatest class in this book. I'm giving it an amazing. No, this is trash, but it's entertaining trash. I fucking love it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why I was looking forward to this because it's not a good class, but it is
An entertaining
Fun
one.
to yeah.
It isn't entertaining like when the true neighbor. It isn't painful.
I genuinely recommend if you ever want to throw your players for a loop, introduce like the demented crack wizard whose skin is just a pale green, going gotta get my supply, gotta get, and just begin screaming, charging towards them with the knife drawn because they think you have space rock. Just have them fight crackhead wizards for space rocks. Come on, that is an entire campaign right there.
Oh, yeah, that's an amazing counter, like, encounter.
I love this class. I really do. It's a piece of shit, but I love it.
I know, it's true neighbor, but like entertaining true neighbor.
You know, you're right. Technically, it is true name. I called it trash, but no, it just makes you worse in every way humanly possible. As a person, as a character, no, as a character, in terms of your character's personality, in terms of
You
what you can
know,
do.
don't do drugs. Just don't do drugs. This is why you should do drugs.
Get some help.
Yeah, please. Like, God, I'm thinking like, they just the party just stages an intervention with the wizard.
This is a very special episode of Dice Scum.
Like a very special, yeah, like a very special episode. Like the wizard just walks into the room, then they turn on the lights, and their party is like, with them, and it's like we're concerned about you.
But at the same time, this is a Green Star Adept. He's probably just gonna scream incoherently and then charge to the wall like the Kool-Aid Man.
Well, and then they're like, well, we have no choice but to kick you out of the
Given how high he is,
party.
maybe he just vibrates through the wall.
Yeah.
He just no clips through the wall. You see him like 5 hours later, just in his underwear, screaming as he holds a giant glowing rock in the air.
That implies he wouldn't just immediately try to put it in his mouth regardless of how big it actually is.
God.
I'm just envisioning like they fight him. Okay, they fight him 5 hours later, not quite, but partially choking to death on a rock that got stuck in his throat, and it's almost the size of his head. He legitimately broke his jaw to try to shove it in. Oh God, that was much needed after the horrible monk.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm. Oh
Yeah.
wait,
Don't do drugs.
this is also a really good class. I remember this, but it's good in the unironic way. Say hello to
Yeah.
the Initiate of the Sevenfold Veil. So this is your prismatic specialist. It's similar to the Argent Hand, the guys that specialize in force. These guys specialize in prismatic magic.
Your idea, prismatic spells are basically a series of spells that have 7 aspects, one for each color of the rainbow, and their spells are very luck based, but also very devastating in the
To
right
to give you an
application.
idea, my nasty crit fishing build enchanted her sword so that whenever she critted, because you can do this, this is a thing you can do for certain weapons. On criticals, you can give them a magical effect. I gave her sword prismatic spray, which that's a beautiful spell when it kicks off right. More than once, I
Yeah.
have turned people to stone, sent them to a horrifying nightmare dimension, just dropped them dead instantly, or just did a fuckload of electrical, fire, or ice damage.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful spell selection. And these guys specialize in it, so let's see what we need to begin with. You need Knowledge Arcana 12 ranks because a lot of prismatic spells are higher ranked. Knowledge Nature of 4 and Spellcraft of 12. You need Greater Spell Focus Abjuration because that's where most of your prismatic spells are. Spell Focus Abjuration and Skill Focus Spellcraft. You need to be able to cast 5 abjuration spells, including at least 2 of 4th level or higher, since this is a near the end of your character's run class.
Yeah, like this, you have to be minimum character level 9.
Alrighty, let's see what we get out of this. Well, here's a good thing. All of your spells per day increase as they should.
Yeah. Looking good so far.
You get an ability called Warding, which you get up to 4 times a day. You can create a warding. You can choose one veil that they know to be imbued within the warding. A warding lasts for a certain number of time as indicated in its description unless dismissed. And here are the varieties you can do. There's the personal warding sphere, which encapsulates you. It's essentially a little kind of spell barrier. Any creature striking at them with a melee weapon or natural attack is subject to the veil's effect. Which, remember, if no one shouts "Taste the rainbow, motherfucker," I feel like an opportunity would have been missed. I unironically occasionally said that whenever my prismatic attack went off. I think I said it on a boss once, and basically I think he was resistant to death effects or stone effect or something. But I still did a shitload of elemental damage to them. Oh, and using this class, oh yeah, taste the rainbow, motherfucker. You can also area warding, which allows you to zone control. Basically, you can choose when it activates. And last but not least, you can do walls, which, remember, walls can be nasty. Walls of force, basically, you can make a little cuck box that they can't escape from.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's like up to 10 feet long. That's perfect for hallways.
Yeah. And here are the veils you can do. Red veil. The first veil the initiate learns is the red veil. I think it also determines. Do they actually? Ah, yes, they do.
But
Each
the good
level you
idea,
learn a veil.
this class is 7 levels. Most classes are levels that are in increments of 5, but this one has one for each veil, and basically every level you get another veil added to your repertoire.
And this is why I think this prestige class is fun, because
Yeah.
they really actually played around with prismatics with this. So each level you get a veil. At first level you get red. Red veil, it blocks all non-magical ranged attacks and missiles. Any creature crossing a red veil takes 20 points of fire damage, reflex of half. Cone of Colds can destroy a warding with this veil, but are negated. It's not powerful, but it's nice.
Yep, but I will say that it literally is the red color effect of Prismatic Wall, including what spell counters set.
Yep. Orange Veil. At second level, the Orange Veil is yours. A warding at this veil halts magical ranged attacks, including spells that conjure missiles, by the way, or uses rays. It does not stop spells that do not require a ranged attack, though. Creatures that cross this take 40 points of acid damage, exactly like Prismatic Wall. Gust of Wind will
Ooh.
dismantle it, but still. And by the way, remember, this is a personal bodyguard effect you can slap on yourself or on walls. Yellow Veil. When you get to third level, you get it prevents gases or clouds from entering your area. So if you worry about things like cloud kill or very poisonous gases, negates it. It also
It
prevents you
also,
from being petrified. Sorry, I stole your thunder there, Diopsid. I just really love this prestige class. To
yeah,
give you an
I
idea,
did too.
I wanted to actually make a wizard once that eventually became one of this. He wore a rainbow tuxedo. He was the most fabulous motherfucker on the planet. Never got to use him, but that's fine. And last but not least, here's the other thing. Creatures crossing it take 80 points of electrical damage, again mimicking Prismatic Wall. And as for what destroys it, Disintegrate. Why don't you cover the last 4 colors?
okay. Green Veil
Um,
stops the passage of breath weapons, and creature president must make a fort save or just immediately fall over dead. It's like, and but if they make a successful save, they take 1d6 points of Constitution damage, which is still really nasty.
hmm
This effect counts as a poison effect, which means if you're immune to that, I guess you're safe.
I think that's a lot
Uh,
of outsiders, and I know
yep, a
constructs
Pathwall
are immune.
spell destroys the Green Veil. I should point out, of the spells listed so far, Pathwall is probably the most situational one and probably the least likely one you'll have prepared at any point.
There's a reason why. There's a reason why I remember there's a Lich encounter you fight in Dungeon Land. He not only has Prismatic Spray, but he also has Prismatic Wall. That's why the Lich
Yep.
Captain is like one of the worst you can fight.
Yep. Well, Blue Veil is blocks all divination and mind affecting spells. and any creature crossing it must succeed on a fort save or be petrified.
Which
Magic.
petrifaction is not something to mess with.
Yep. Unfortunately, it's able to be destroyed by magic missile.
Which, that's pretty accessible. It's just, you have to kind of know this.
Yeah. There's Indigo Veil, which prevents the passage of all spells and spell-like abilities, which is pretty powerful, especially even at higher levels.
Don't forget
And
getting confused as if you got hit with insanity, which is damn near impossible to scrub.
yep, and you need a daylight spell to negate the Indigo Veil. Then finally, you get the Violet Veil, where the barrier destroys all objects and effects that cross it as if they were disintegrated. Living creatures passing through a violet veil must succeed on a will save or be shifted to a random place on a random plane.
Unironically, this is the color effect that my crit fishing build unironically got the most often. I have ended several fights by just teleporting the powerful enemy into another fucking dimension. Much to the point where I think at one point our GM legitimately had an enemy that they just used their spell to get back, and they were very pissed off when that happened.
Oh yeah.
I mean, to be fair, we ourselves had a lot of access to plane shift at that
Oh yeah,
point.
we were disgusting by the end. It, like, to give you an idea, my crit fisher, my disciple of Despater, while the most frustrating to fight, was not the most evil in terms of just how painful it would have been to fight.
Yeah.
That goes to our Death Master, who legitimately found ways to basically trick you into destroying his wrong phylactery.
Oh yeah, my character was a level 24 Lich because he took Deathmaster and all of the fun bullshit that involved with being
You,
an
you
undead monstrosity that's extremely paranoid.
don't forget you made a Tomb of Horrors light. It wasn't as bad, but basically, unlike a Sararak, you didn't actually follow the code and just basically put a fake fucking phylactery there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like why actually give them a chance to actually destroy it?
like you'd watch it and you'd watch them like do it as entertainment.
I mean, that's basically what the Tomb of Horrors was for a Sararak. It's
Yeah,
just he was
like
stupid.
yeah, it was just it's just entertainment.
He actually gave them a chance to destroy him.
Well, no,
Yeah,
remember he also
it's
put a
like a
fake version of
reality
himself too.
show. Yeah, it's like a
Yeah, but I mean,
reality
the fact that there's
show.
any chance at all.
Yeah, there's no chance at all.
By the way, the best part is your abjuration spells become harder to dismantle, which means your prismatics are even harder for enemies to resist.
Yep.
Same with countering and dispelling, it makes it harder to get rid of. And on top of that, at 4th level, those wardings, all those beautiful colors, you can then turn them into an immediate action. Like, let's say you get sideswiped by a teleporting asshole, you're like, oh yeah, by the way, eat green veil, drops dead, rage from the GM. Oh, and you can double ward too. I forgot you could do that. You can stack 2 veils on top of each other. Oh, that's beautiful. That is I love it. And last but not least, Kaleidoscopic Doom. Once a day as a standard action, she designates one creature within 60 feet and turns magical effects currently affecting them against it. Every spell or effect negated on the target, the effect of one veil is visited on the victim as if the subject crossed it. Reminder: this basically punishes people with a lot of magical equipment. You legitimately, if the effect pulls off, like the people who like to stack buffs, this destroys them. Because not only do they lose it, but you get hit with fire, electrical, acid, and then if you have a 4th buff, death. Yeah,
Oh,
all in all, amazing class. Very highly
amazing,
recommend.
amazing. I don't know. I
Yeah, it's
also love it.
amazing. It's
I
pretty
love the
crazy,
book.
especially no loss in caster levels to get all this crazy shit.
Don't forget the fact that they make the prismatic spells even harder to shrug off and nastier.
don't know. I love everything about it.
I just
You
love,
know,
like, you have this like asshole who's buff to the nines, has cat's graves, bull strength, fucking armored up skin, like bark skin, and you're just like, watch this, and then they just get douched with fire, electrical, and acid damage at the same time.
Unfortunately, the last class of tonight is kind of a disappointment
Oh
because it's
no, we're
not.
getting a wet fart.
Yeah.
The Mage of the Arcane Order. He looks like a fucking homeless person.
yeah.
Let me show you. He looks like a hobo.
At
Check out
least
the.
he's not addicted to space crap.
Well, no, he might be. Look at that alcoholism. Look at those alcohol nose.
Yeah,
Why drink? Why eat space crack when you can just chug 5 gallons of liquor a day?
that's true.
Yeah, because at least with liquor, you don't become booze if you drink too much of it.
Yeah,
I'm just now envisioning a version of the Green Star Adept where they turn into alcohol and they start sipping themselves. Wait a minute, I'm delicious.
yeah,
Eats
or like
themselves to death like Pizza the Hut from
yeah,
Spaceballs.
like their blood becomes alcohol.
Drinks themselves to death like a
Yeah.
vampire. Oh man. All right, let's actually get to this sad, sad sack of a class. I don't remember this too well. I think it's very much a fluff class, if I recall, though.
Yeah.
Oh shit, yeah, it is. Okay, I remember. This is a bit. This is a big
I mean,
wet
at
fart.
least I can say you don't lose any caster levels, but
So yeah, that's one bonus. So here's the requirements. You have to have Knowledge Arcana 8 ranks, a cooperative spell, and any other meta magic feat. You have to be able to cast and prepare second level arcane spells, and you have to pay an initiation fee of 750 gold because it's a fucking scam.
yeah, I know that I usually like I'm okay with classes that like don't lose any. The problem is that this
This is
you
such a
get a
nothing.
ball and chain known as being tied to an organization,
Also,
which is a huge demerit.
you also get almost nothing out of it.
Yeah, like there's no yeah, like sounds like a sucky organization. Like yeah, because yeah, with organizations usually you have to do stuff for them.
Mm-hmm. Which is
And
good
that
for the
usually
GM.
yeah, but most GMs will usually be like, "Oh, you're part of an organization. Well, you have to. Well, now you have. Well, you probably need. They'll probably give you quests like related to that organization. You have to do stuff,
On
which can
top
be
of that,
fun.
there's several tenets. The first tenet is that you have to advance magical knowledge through research, so they'll throw you into random tombs and dungeons to find magical research. The second is support and welfare. You have to basically help the losers of your organization. Also, on top of that, no marshals allowed. Get out, you fucking jocks. So, what do we get
Yeah,
out of this? Guild member.
Uh, a bunch, a bunch of roleplay bullshit that, like I said, it's a ball and chain to this organization, but the big main class feature is the spell pool, where you get a little trinket that allows you, if you have to be a wizard for this because you need to prepare arcane spells, but if you have a spell slot open instead of preparing a spell there, you can cast a spell from the spell pool, which is a group of spells the organization keeps. Like, the sounds really good on paper, but at the time you also will have to spend like double the spell levels because after casting it, you then have to spend a full round action giving up a number of spell slots equal to that spell level in return for using the spell from the spell pool.
Wait, really? Let me take a look at that. That's awful.
Yeah. So like if you cast a level 4 spell from the spell pool, you then after that have to either expend 4 level 1 spells, 2 level 2 spells, or 1 level 4 spell to send back to them called the spell pool debt.
Calling a spell from the spell pool can be done at any distance, but requires to have an open. Blah blah blah. Call a number of spells per day. Total levels equal to half their caster level down. When a caster casts a spell, he takes full round action, appears in the mind at the beginning and at the next turn. So it takes a turn to set up too, by the way. And if he doesn't do it within a few minutes, it fades from his mind. What the actual fuck? Spell pull debt. Yep. Incurs a debt. You must return an energy packet. Jesus Christ.
Man, this sounds like bureaucracy. The class sounds awful.
Yeah, it does sound awful.
It could be paid off with another 5th level or any combination of spells whose level total 5. Full round. That takes a full round action too. So it takes. Let's say you know there's a spell you really want, but you didn't remember to get. You use the spell pull. You waste 2 turns to cast it, and then you lose a spell slot. Wow. Mm-mm.
It also points out you cannot run a positive balance, by giving more than you receive on your time down.
What a fucking scam.
Yeah.
What a fucking scam.
This is like joining like a cult. Is this what joining a
No, like I said, it's bureaucracy. It's worse than the cult.
This is a wizards union. Only this wizards union is shit and only benefits the rich of their union.
So this is a wizards union, seriously?
I'm just envisioning the mage strikes.
You even have to force your party to take a break every 6 months so you can go visit them.
Wait, fucking really? Where's that?
Yeah, you do. You have to make you
have to make an appearance at least once every 6 months.
Where did they say
Well,
this?
I could just imagine like having to sit.
Well, the duties include putting in an appearance on campus at least once every 6 months, and accepting any special commissions handed down by senior members.
Could you just imagine, like, dragging your party to one of these meetings and then having to sit through a boring meeting?
No. Can you envision? No, it's you also get the corporate team building, the union team building exercise where you get a shitty song that was conducted, like they literally bribed a bard to make like a praising order song that's like the horrifying IBM songbook list. Fun fact: International Business Machines actually have an entire songbook similar to how churches usually have hymns. I'm not kidding. The most well known of this is Ever Onward.
I should point out that they get a free meta magic feat twice, but you can do that just by taking 10 levels of wizard.
Mm-hmm.
You also get 2 free meta magic feats, and they can be item creation feats instead.
You also get bonus languages, which hoopity doo. You already have high int. You probably have a lot of languages anyway. What a load of fucking trash. By the way, another thing about the guild that we did not mention is that each month you have to pay 30 gold pieces a month. You have to do that too.
Yeah, it's not like much, but the fact is that you have to like figure out a way to like get the money to them every month.
Yeah. That's right. It's not like you can like this is D&D. It's not like there's like Venmo or anything.
In other words, it's a massive pain in the ass.
It's a massive scam.
No Venmo. There's no Venmo, so you have to
like 30 gold is barely anything at this point you get qualified.
Then what if the mail something happens during shipping and you can't get your money to it?
Yeah, and there's arrears. Basically, if you're out for 3 months, boom, fuck you, you're fired. Oh, another thing, if you go to their campus, that you spend 5 silver pieces a day for common quality meals and lodging.
You don't get the benefit,
You're wavering in back and forth audio-wise, Mrs. Sorry.
Sorry. I'm just shaking my head.
Agitated because of how bad this book is. I understand.
Yeah, I'm literally shaking my head because I'm it's just this is joining. This is joining a club or an honor society, but with none of the benefits. This is this is there's this one there's it's that one honor society that doesn't it's like that
The stupidest thing about this is, okay, so I did the math in my head. It's 30 gold pieces a month, and these dirty little motherfuckers couldn't even give you free room and board, food and board.
Yeah, like seriously, this
I
is
did
Yeah,
the math. It's 6 gold pieces out of your 30 fucking membership. You're really so hard up on that spendoolie, your money, that you can't even fucking wave that off.
I know, it's like they just
you
you
also get to ask another wizard kindly to scribe a single spell from their spell book at 5th and 8th level.
Yeah, and I imagine you have to basically crawl on your knees desperately too.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
and the capstone. Level 10 capstone is you become a regent and you get a +2 competence bonus in all charisma checks, talking to the poor saps who are below you in rank.
Oh, by the way, another fun thing, you get access to an alchemist's lab, but you still have to spend it. You still have to spend everything yourself.
Yeah.
Like you don't even get
yeah,
common reagents for free. Like anything under a gold piece for free. I think that would have been fine. Holy
yeah,
shit.
like this is just like this just has so many fees and
I,
stuff.
I love it. It's just like it's a be massive pain in the ass for the rest of the party.
Yeah.
Like here's the fucked up thing. I almost kind of like the organization's concept. It's just it's a big fucking drag.
Like
Like
you just
we've been playing Pathfinder. The Pathfinder Society is a lot more freewheeling and actually
or even
complements things.
or even like the Order Solomon was from. That's actually what it should have been like done right. Like in our Gunlock
Well, to be
game.
fair, it was a religious order, but it was just the god of
Well,
magic and not.
it's
Yeah,
partially a religious order, but honestly, it's kind of more treated as it was actually kind of
Yeah,
more treated as a
yeah,
Freemason's
because
lodge where you just kind of.
wizards worship Bocop.
So yeah,
yeah,
basically
the
they just
book.
kind of they shoot the shit. You get free room and board as long as you're officially a member. Very rarely they might send a mission because in their own mind, if you constantly get bothered by a central force that's basically impeding your own private research, because again, Bocop's really into research in lore. So it kind of made sense for an organization like that to be very freewheeling and kind of very much libertarian and leaving you alone. So long as you're not like trying to destroy the world or whatever.
Yeah, but like again, like it's like
What was it? You
you
got free
know,
room and board. You got access to research, at least to research lower level spells up to I think what was it? The first couple of levels up to 3.
Well, you get more access the more levels you take in the class.
Well, no, I mean in my order, if I vaguely remember
Oh,
right, like basically all you had to do is like basically pay for the research, and they can just transcribe a
yeah,
scroll for you for free.
yeah, it's pretty free. Like,
Like, oh, you need this specific spell. Well, you just spend the equivalent money to do the reagents so they can scribe it and give you the research data.
yeah, right, yeah. Like this is just so like this organization really sucks. It
yeah,
belongs
but
in
I
the
have to put up
trash.
emphasis on. Imagine how much of a drag it would be for the other players having to
I
go through this.
know, like probably none of your characters ever really care. Like they probably will find it boring to like.
I'm just envisioning Ugg the Barbarian going, "Why Ugg have to go to nerd college again? Ugg don't understand."
Could you just imagine the Barbarian sitting in a meeting?
Mashed potatoes are subpar.
Mashed potato, okay. Why Ugg pay puny wizard man? Why Ugg have pay money? Ugg thought that if club you get free. Ugg have tribe of barbarian. When go to them, Ugg prove strongest in fight. Ugg get food for free. Why you not beat up nerds? I'm now envisioning like a barbarian guild, which is very funny.
Yeah, the Barbarian Guild is probably a lot cooler. They
This
probably
this
have better. They have probably have better events and parties.
yeah, this is a big fucking wet fart. It gives you. It's not a massive downgrade. It's just it's so fiddly, and you have to do all
Yeah,
these little
but
things.
honestly, the the role play restrictions. I would actually give this an NPC tier because
Oh yeah, it's
this
straight
is
up an
not
NPC.
because this is not a solo game. This is something where you have other players who probably don't want to be forced to deal with your weird restrictions due to your prestige class, where they have to constantly go back to a certain location constantly.
Primarch thinks that these guys should have been refluffed into a D&D version of the Mechanicus where they become obsessed with knowledge. Honestly, you could just refluff it to be like what my Order of Bokob was, which was basically uh, you can provide upkeep via donation, but their big thing is basically you're expected to, since you do research, you're expected to at least, you don't have to show off your spell book, but you just you're expected to present research via communications via mail or something every now and again. Because knowledge is power. You need to know knowledge and give them knowledge. In exchange, you get some pretty good access. That's the thing. Not a lot of you don't get a lot, and it's kind of insistent. It's like a house. It's like a homeowners association, and because of that, I
Scammy
respect.
honor
Hmm?
scammy honor societies you see like in at colleges and stuff that are just like nothing but fees.
I respect the effort that went into at least figuring this out. I can't really give it a playable. Like, here's the thing. I was thinking NPC and then the rating I'd give it. It's just a little too annoying to be playable. Like, it's not a downgrade, but it's just so annoying.
Really love how they're able to take a 10 level class where you get continue to advance in casting all 10 levels. They manage to give it so many awful role playing restrictions. It counteracts any benefits having that little thing would
I wouldn't even
want.
call it restrictions. It's just little nettles, little annoyings, little nitpicks,
Yeah.
Yeah, like
annoying incidences that just make it. Oh Lord, I'd be done with
it's
this
just so
class.
restrictive. Like honestly, I'd say it's like trash to me.
Yeah, I can't quite rate it playable. It's unfortunate. Like, this is weird. It's a mechanically speaking, it should at minimum be a decent class.
But the
Mechanically
role,
speaking, it should be. But because of what you have to deal with, I can't. It's an NPC class, but I'd have to probably rate it a very soft trash. Just because of you
yeah,
have to show up every 6 months. What the fuck? Like,
yeah,
if you just had to spend the dues and then maybe give research instead of showing up, maybe that would be fine.
Maybe go to the nearest 2A scry pool or something. No, you got to physically go there.
Like,
like
if you
yeah,
did it like that, I'd probably bump it up easily into high playable, just because it's still kind of annoying, but it's fun. It could be a fun role playing thing.
yeah. Like you could just like you could be there long distance. Like
But you have to show up there physically. And on
yeah,
top
like
of that,
well,
the stuff you
you're
get for the
wizards.
money you blow into it.
You're you're wizards. You can like do long distance communication. What is wrong with you?
Well, like I know there's stuff like teleportation, but at the time you get that, it's like, why are you even bothering this order? You have teleport. Why are you bothering with us?
You know what
Yeah,
might I just thought of something that might also help. Instead of just getting a couple of spells, maybe give them the opportunity to you can retool your spell book by doing a swap, like a knowledge swap. Like, every now and again, like if you have spells you don't use too often, you can just be like, well, in this case, let's do a knowledge swap, and you just make it a trade
Yeah,
with another member of the order.
yeah, that would be good.
Like, yeah, you lose those spells because you can't memorize them anymore unless you scribe them
because
down
I
in a
will say, yeah,
scroll.
yeah, maybe with teleport you could probably get around the 6 month thing, but at the same time you're still probably dragging off the DM to make you have to do your own thing while the other players just sit there and twiddle their thumbs while you're on the other side of the world role play.
I'd say in its defense, if you mention interest in this class, or if the DM mentions the order, they probably do have storylines for it. In their defense, it's not that bad in terms of that. It's more the fact that if you're playing the game similar to like an OSR sort of setup where time actually matters to a degree, and it kind of does even if you don't, this just fuck, every few sessions you're just gonna have to derail. Ooh. Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
I understand exactly what they want. I literally came up with an order of wizards similar to this. But nah, you don't get enough out of it to make it actually worth the annoying kind of snooty looking into bleh, bleh, bleh to this, I say. A pox on
You're
your
supposed to
house.
be a wizard. The thing about wizards is you tell reality to sit down and shut up.
Well, you don't want to be part of the wizarding union. Oh God! Seriously, imagine if you had to like do a wizard strike. You like wander around the goddamn kingdom saying, I will not use magic to make your life better." I'm just envisioning a wizard strike. It's so bad. Maybe in this is something they could unironically, if they were doing like 5e books, they should come up with stupid ideas like this, like the wizarding union, and then there's the clerical union, where it's like the gods have told us we cannot provide services to you. Take it up with them personally. Oh man, that's so awful. But unironically, that might actually help some of those settings. Because the big problem in fifth edition homebrew settings they came up with for like their new stuff, very much they try to go with weird, diverse utopia where everyone gets along, which ignores the fact that in a setting you kind of need some form of conflict. It doesn't have to be based on everything, but you know, like they have a very bad version of what a sigil, I believe. Yeah, it's called sigil in Planescape. They have a bad version of that where there's like no actual conflict.
Ugh.
Like you don't have evil town council members running scams in the bad sections of town that were like neglected. You don't have intercity fantasy gangsters.
You don't have an invincible high heart being that this instantly turns you into meatloaf if you do anything that she doesn't like.
They don't have a giant evil space hamster becoming a serial killer for gnomes hiding in the sewers.
Yeah.
Like come on. You gotta in a fantasy setting, you kind of need some form of conflict. Yeah, the world's not perfect because of what I'm suggesting, but like that's kind of the thing. You need something to strive against. Oh, hey, we're actually just shy of 2 hours. That's pretty good. So,
Yeah.
so next week, I think I kind of said it bit. Next week will be Rifts because we're almost done with that book, and I do kind of want to see how we can make a priest of Elvis. Ah, yeah, it's called Radiant Citadel. So next week will be Rifts. The week after, could either be Call of Cthulhu, could also possibly be Gaslands. I'm really interested in showing off Gaslands. Think heavy metal meets Fallout. Meets Mad Max with racing. It's like car fights the game. We work in magic waste management. Beautiful. And yeah, then there's part 3 of this. This is going to be a 3-parter book, just because there's so many classes. And don't worry, there's both good and awful classes coming up, like the worst bard class known to man.
And then the
Yeah.
best bard class known to man.
I know, it was the best of songs, it was the worst of songs. And that's probably going to be the title of that episode.
Yeah.
So that might have an excellent night, everyone. Thanks for joining us on this episode of Dice Scum. Actually,
Yeah.
Autistic Analysis, that's the actual name of the series. You can feel free to drop a like. You can subscribe if you wish. And last but not least, we do have a Discord where we actually have a bunch of topics that range from board games to, well, current events a little bit. Mainly just making fun of how bad Russia's doing in the current events over there. But other things happen over there too. Movies, games, tabletop games too. Just feel free to drop on by. Have an excellent night, everybody.